Hey there, CINEMASTER fans. Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. The events of Part 2 of the series Search begin with noticing that there's a spy in their team, the son of the retired general, who was sent by his father, the superior's partner from 20 years ago. He tells his son to find and destroy the camera to hide the evidence and keep anyone from knowing what happened. The next day, the team decides to impose a curfew in the village to protect the villagers, so no one goes out at night. They go to collect the surveillance cameras and confirm that the monster has left the village and returned to the forest. So they reassure the villagers that they're now safe. The team decides to leave the village and return to their camp to continue training and devise a new plan. The team leader takes one of the soldiers and keeps patrolling around the camp to secure it, making sure the monster isn't close by because he's afraid it might attack them again like it did before. At that time, Young goes to get the camera and plays the video to understand the situation more and more. That's when he finds out that an officer from their own army betrayed his colleague and killed him so he wouldn't report him after what he'd done. Suddenly, the general's son enters because he's his roommate and happens to be there when he sees the camera. He's shocked when he watches the video and realizes this is the evidence his father asked him to look for, but he refuses to tell him it's with Young because he's worried about him. He decides to keep an eye on him to steal it and keep him out of harm's way. Young goes to hide the camera in his locker so none of the soldiers can find it, but the general's son keeps watching him, finds out where it is, and decides to take it when Young leaves and watch the video. Meanwhile, Cyan and her friends succeed in finding a cure that can get rid of the monster. They prepare an injection with the antidote, but first, they have to inject the monster with it. Cyan goes to tell the squad leader what she's done and that they have a chance to defeat the monster. The leader is happy and decides to take advantage of the opportunity, making a new plan because the deadline is almost up. After that, the general's son watches the video and discovers the truth about his father, confirming that he's a traitor and a liar. He calls him to confront him, telling him that everything he did is on video and there's evidence against him. We learn that his father is famous and close to the government, and people think he's a hero who's fought all his life. His son asks him if it's all a lie, and he says that, in truth, he's a traitor and only cares about his personal interests. His father gets angry and lies to him, saying that the colleague who died was the traitor, and asks him to destroy the camera. When he hangs up, he goes to meet his partner, the president, and argues with him because he was the one who filmed the video, and now there's evidence because of him. At that time, Young is training but remembers that the monster gets weaker from the sound of the walkie-talkie, realizing it messes with its mind, weakens its vision, and even paralyzes it, which could be its weakness. He goes to his commander and says he has a plan to lure the monster into the village and use the device's frequencies at high volume. The commander refuses because he doesn't want to endanger the villagers, saying that if the plan fails, the monster could attack and kill many people. But Young assures him that he's taken precautions and would never risk the villagers' lives. He says he'll gather them in a safe place underground to keep them out of danger, so they can chase the monster in the village without worrying about the villager. The commander is convinced and admires his intelligence, agreeing to the plan immediately because he has no other solution. He decides to implement it as soon as possible, since the deadline is almost over and the mission must succeed. He orders the soldiers to install loudspeakers in the village to use against the monster, but the general's son falls to the ground, pretending to be injured so he doesn't have to participate in the mission, and decides to return to the camp so when they start the plan he can seize the opportunity to steal the camera from Young's locker. He does take it, decides to break it, and sends a picture of it to the general to confirm he did it. After that, Young and his team start executing the plan and succeed in luring the monster into the village. They turn on the loudspeakers to weaken the monster and force it into their trap. The plan is going well. The monster tries to escape and is about to enter the trap. Unfortunately, one of the loudspeakers breaks down and stops working, so one of the soldiers has to go fix it. The monster senses him and attacks. A woman from the village is at the scene, sees what's happening, and musters her courage to save the soldier's life. She takes his weapon and shoots at the monster, but it's unaffected due to its strength and being bulletproof. It approaches her to finish her off, and she, feeling her end is near, cries and collapses to the ground. But Young notices the monster isn't where they agreed it would be. He goes to look for it and is shocked to find it right in front of him. He starts shooting at it to lure it into their trap, and indeed, the monster chases him until it enters the warehouse where the team is hiding. They trap it and lock the door so it can't escape. They keep shooting at it with their weapons, trying to weaken and paralyze it, but it attacks one of them, knocking him unconscious. It approaches Cyan to finish her off, but Young risks his life to protect her, shooting at the monster to distract it. Cyan, moved by what he did, seizes the opportunity and manages to inject the monster with the substance, and the antidote spreads through its body. It feels pain, screams on the ground, and dies. The team is overjoyed and relieved that they finally avenged the monster that killed their comrade. The general's son learns what happened from his colleague and informs his father, telling him the monster is dead too. Cyan contacts her scientific team and asks them to take the monster's body for analysis. The team leader goes to talk to the village woman who saw the monster and warns her not to tell anyone, saying these are dangerous military secrets, and threatens her, saying if she tells anyone, he'll have to kill her. The woman is scared. Afterwards, Cyan goes to thank her for saving the soldier and helping them catch the monster. The woman asks her about the monster, but Cyan refuses to give her any information to keep her safe. The team returns to their camp to rest, thinking everything is finally over. Cyan goes to say goodbye to the team leader because she's going with the body to the lab for experiments, but he thanks her for what she did, saying they wouldn't have succeeded without her, and insists she has lunch with them before leaving, so they can celebrate the mission's success together. He suspects there's a secret behind it all. After that, Young calls his mother to reassure her that the mission is over and he'll be on leave soon. She's still puzzled by their last call, when he suddenly remembered his father and asked about him. He tells her he just wanted to know anything about him since he died when he was young and doesn't even know what he looked like. When he hangs up, he calls the mother of his friend who died, telling her he avenged her son and got justice for him. Afterwards, he goes to his locker to check on the camera and is shocked to find it missing. He goes to his roommate and asks about it. The roommate pretends not to know anything and lies, saying he hasn't seen it since the last time Young had it, and asks if it was something important. Young is forced to tell him about the video, explaining it's the only evidence against a high-ranking army officer and that he betrayed his teammate and killed him, yet was honored as a hero. The roommate tries to change the subject so Young won't find out it's his father and urges him to forget about it. So as not to put them in danger, the team gathers to eat together to celebrate their success in their mission. Young promises them that he will invite them to lunch at his mother's restaurant when they go and leave, and the team leader thanks them for what they have done, telling them they are the bravest soldiers he has ever worked with. Young goes to say goodbye to Xian before she goes to the lab, but he is sad that he won't see her again, and he keeps looking at her as she walks away, feeling that he misses her and it's clear he still loves her. After that, Xian arrives at the lab and meets her colleague, and they start experimenting on the monster. They discover that the reason for the transformation is exposure to a radioactive substance, which turned him into a zombie monster. At that time, Young goes to ask the woman who helped him about the incident that happened 20 years ago. She tells him everything and sends him a picture of the team leader who succeeded in the mission, was honored by the state, and became a general. Young is shocked when he sees him and realizes that he is the traitorous officer who betrayed his colleague in the video. At that time, the team leader decides to go look for the camera and enters the forest alone to find it, but he hears on the radio that the retired general will come to visit them in the camp, so he has to return quickly. He gathers the team and tells them that the general is the father of one of the soldiers. Young is surprised by what he hears and starts connecting the dots, realizing that his roommate is the one who stole the camera to protect his father. He goes to confront him with what he knows, but his roommate denies it and asks him to forget about the matter because he is afraid for his father. Young is upset that he was deceived and tells him he regrets trusting him, then leaves. At that moment, the general arrives at the village, is welcomed by the locals, and takes pictures with them as they consider him a hero. Then he goes to the camp, meets the team, and thanks them for their success, saying he came specifically to salute their courage. But Young knows he is lying and that he came to make sure the camera was destroyed and the video was gone. At night, his son goes to talk to him and has to lie to him, assuring him that no one saw the video or anything else. He did this because he was afraid Young would get hurt, but he is sad because he used to consider his father his hero and role model, but in the end, he turned out to be worthless. After that, the team leader sits with him and tells him he knew his son was a spy and was watching all of them. He tells him everything he knows about the chemical bomb that caused the monster's transformation and offers to get it for him in exchange for a big promotion and to become his right-hand man. The general is impressed by his intelligence because he could think well and remembers himself when he was young, so he agrees to his offer. The next day, the soldiers prepare to leave after the mission's success, and everyone starts getting their things ready to go on leave. The team leader gathers them and thanks them for everything they have done, wishing them a happy holiday. But at that moment, a girl from the village gets lost from her friends and enters the forest alone. Her family is scared and goes to the camp, asking the soldiers to help them because they are afraid for her. The team has to cancel their leave and decides to go look for her. The team starts preparing, taking extra weapons, and begins the mission, heading into the forest. At that time, Cyan calls Young to check on him and wants to tell him something important, but he tells her what happened and that he is now on a mission and entering the forest. Cyan is surprised by what she hears and tells him she discovered there is another transformed monster in the forest and is afraid for him. She warns him not to go alone and asks him not to put his life in danger. Young is surprised and doesn't know the monster's name, but thanks her and promises he will take care of himself. He goes to inform his colleagues, and of course, They refuse to cancel the mission and decide to risk their lives to save the girl. Young is affected by their courage and decides to join them, taking the dog with him, and they enter the forest. They keep walking until they reach an abandoned place and go inside to see if the girl is there, but they are surprised to find the team leader is also inside, searching for the chemical bomb. They have to tell him their new mission, that they are looking for a girl from the village who got lost in the forest, and he asks them to split into 2 groups to save time. One group searches inside the abandoned building and the other group searches the forest, but they meet Sion, who has come to help them. Young succeeds in finding the girl in the building and is happy she is okay. He asks her what she is doing there, but she tells him that a kind person saved her from the animals and she was playing with him. He is surprised by her words and asks a colleague to take her out while he stays alone in the place. Suddenly, he feels something fast pass behind him, gets scared and realizes it is the second monster. Afterwards, the girl returns to the team, and they are relieved she is okay. They ask her to tell them how she got in there. The girl starts to remember what happened and tells them she was walking in the forest and entered a place with planted bombs. She was about to step on a bomb, but before it exploded, the monster appeared and saved her just in time. They are surprised by her words and think she is hallucinating. At the same time, Young reaches the monster's place and approaches him. He goes to check on Young, who tells him what happened. He realizes from the girl's words that the monster is actually kind. Then the monster leaves the building but finds one of the soldiers wanting to kill him. Feeling threatened, he defends himself and hits him but doesn't kill him and escapes. After that, the team leaves the building carrying the soldier who was hit by the monster because his leg is broken. When they return to the camp, they hold a meeting to make a plan to capture the monster, but Young tells them what happened with him and that the building was about to collapse on him, but the monster saved him. Everyone is surprised by his words and decides to stay in the camp until they know what to do with the monster. The team leader calls the general and tells him everything, informing him there is another monster, but he is peaceful. The general is tense by what he hears and realizes they know something and are hiding it. He orders him to get rid of the monster as soon as possible and not let him be captured. At that time, the camp leader's conscience wakes up, and he decides to confess what happened 20 years ago. He writes a letter telling people the truth, saying the general is a traitor and a liar, but suddenly the general comes in, takes the letter from him, tears it up, and orders his guard to kill him. He fakes his death as if he did it to himself, returns to his office happy, thinking he is now safe and no one will know what he did. But his son decides to correct his mistake and exposes him, publishing the video that was on the camera everyone. When he broke the camera, he took the memory card with the video and kept it. The video spreads on television, and everyone knows that the general they thought was a hero is actually a traitor. Young is happy when he sees the video, but when he watches it to the end, he notices something strange and rewinds the video, seeing the soldier who died holding a picture. His wife and son, and as he grows up, a photo surprises us. It's a picture of him as a child with his mother. He finds out that the soldier who died is his father. He breaks down, unable to handle what he's learned, and gets into a fight with the general's son because his father was behind it all. The team leader gets angry, separates them, and takes the general's son aside to talk to him alone. We see a flashback from 20 years ago. At that time, the treacherous general shot Young's father and put him on a boat to cross the border, so everyone would think he was a traitor who escaped. But the northern officer who was with the bomb saw him, got him off the boat and took him to the abandoned building. There he asked about his wife and daughter, but he learned his wife had died, and the team had taken his daughter to care for her. Because of this, he got upset, and the virus symptoms started to spread in his body. The building collapsed on him, and he died, but his blood got on Young's father before he died, which turned him into a monster. Back to the present, the general's son decides to leave the team and resign because he feels guilty. He goes to get his things from the locker, but Sion goes to him and finds out he was the one who posted the video and exposed his father. She asks him to talk to Young and tell him the truth, but he refuses because Young thinks he's a traitor and stole the camera behind his back. Then Young's mother calls him. She must have seen the video and apologizes for hiding the truth from him. He tells her, "I'm not upset with you, I'm upset for you, because you had to bear all this alone." His mother is touched by his words and cries, telling him she was afraid for him and did it to protect him. The next day, she decides to tell people the truth. She meets with a journalist and tells her everything about her husband, saying he's innocent and not a traitor, and that the general framed him to get rid of him. When she tried to prove his innocence, no one believed. She had to change Young's name and register him under her brother's name, so that when he grew up, no one would bully him because of his father's reputation. Everyone is affected by her words and sympathizes with her. At night, Young dreams of his father and remembers his memories with him after seeing his picture and knowing what he looked like. When he wakes up, he finds the general's son waiting for him, wanting to talk. He reluctantly agrees. His colleague apologizes and asks for forgiveness, admitting he was the one who posted the video and exposed the truth. Young is shocked, but his colleague asks him to forgive his father. Instead, he tells Young to take revenge on him and gives him his number. The next day, Young calls the general and promises that he will make him regret everything he did. After that, he sits with his team and they plan to capture the second monster. Sion shows them the building where the monster is hiding and asks them to capture it alive. They start preparing, taking weapons and equipment, and begin their journey to find it. Along the way, they meet the little girl they rescued in the village. She thanks Young and Sion for helping her. Later, he goes to talk to his father and asks him to surrender and confess his crime, but his father refuses. He tries to convince him that he's a hero and that all the rumors about him are lies, but his son now knows the truth and realizes his father is lying to him. He tries to stop him from what he's planning. Meanwhile, the team arrives at the building where the monster is hiding and starts searching for it. Sion walks around the building and finds the body of the northern officer who was with the bomb. She takes a picture of his name to identify him, then returns to the team after they failed to find the monster. The team leader decides to divide them into small groups to search the place faster. He has a device to locate the bomb and starts looking for it, convinced it's... At that moment, the retired general arrives at the camp with a team of mercenary soldiers and decides to search for the bomb himself, to get rid of Young and his team, so he can be a hero again. The mother of the lost girl overhears his plan and decides to stop him to repay the team. She gathers her courage and confronts him, managing to dodge his blows easily, and landing a punch, proving she's not just a kind mother, but also strong. She refuses to finish him off because she's not a criminal. Unfortunately, another mercenary soldier hits her on the head and knocks her. They don't kill her like she spared them, but lock her in the warehouse. Meanwhile, in the building, Young finds his childhood photo with his mother on the ground. He's surprised because she was with his father before he died, and he suspects the monster is his father. Suddenly, the monster appears and Sion is scared, trying to shoot it, but Young stops her and tells her to leave. He approaches the monster and tries to communicate, showing him the photo and asking if he remembers them. The monster grabs him, and his human memories start coming back when he sees the picture of his wife and son. Suddenly, soldiers from the Northern Army arrive and surround the team in the building to eliminate them. Young is forced to return to his team to fight with them. A big battle breaks out, and the Northern soldiers throw grenades to finish them off. Young feels like their end is near, but suddenly, the mercenary soldiers arrive, attack the Northern soldiers and eliminate them. The team is surprised and afraid they'll be next, preparing to fight, but the team leader assures them he called for their help and calms them down, telling them to lower their weapons. Sion is suspicious and tells Young that the mercenaries are here for the bomb, and will get rid of them afterward. The mercenaries actually plant explosives in the place to finish them off after the mission. The team leader manages to reach the box, while the woman locked in the warehouse wakes up and escapes, heading to the camp to warn the team. The guards tell her the team is on a mission, and can't be contacted, but she doesn't give up. She manages to communicate with them via radio, and informs them that the mercenaries are traitors. The team leader is shocked by what he hears, raises his weapon at the mercenaries to protect his team, and warns them that if they come closer, he'll finish them off. But they take his weapon and capture him. Young and the rest of the team hear this over the radio and realize they're in danger. He starts fighting the mercenaries and a big battle breaks out. They manage to eliminate many of them, but one of the team is injured, and they take him and hide in a room. They think the team leader betrayed them, not knowing he's sacrificing himself for them. At this point, the team leader uses his intelligence, leading the mercenaries to the room with the bomb, but he had prepared and set up explosives because he suspected them. As soon as they enter, he blows them up. After that, the team comes up with another plan, splits up to defeat the mercenary soldiers, and escapes the place. Sion starts fighting one of them. He tries to attack her, but she's stronger and manages to defeat him. Then Young goes to the team leader and is shocked to find him injured, realizing he risked his life to save them, and tries to help him. But the commander refuses, saying that he is fine and asks him to go help Sion. Young is forced to do so, but when he leaves, the commander collapses on the ground, and unfortunately that was his end. His injury was serious and he dies afterward. Young is shocked to find that the mercenaries have captured Sion, and he is forced to throw away his weapon and surrender himself so they don't hurt her. The general enters laughing, and tells Young that he will meet his father's fate. He orders the mercenaries to finish him off, but suddenly his son arrives just in time, raises his weapon, and tells him to stay away from Young. The general gets angry, and refuses, preparing to finish him off, but suddenly the monster attacks the mercenary. The general is frightened and shoots at Young, but his son stands in front of him to protect him and takes the bullet instead. He falls to the ground and apologizes to Young for stealing the video, asking him for forgiveness, and unfortunately he died. The general is shocked by what he has done with his own hands, breaks down, loses control and starts shooting everywhere, but the monster attacks him. He remembers what he did to it 20 years ago, throws all his strength to the ground and approaches to finish him off, but Young stops him. Young goes to talk to him after confirming that he is his father, asks him to come back home with him, but his father refuses and gives him a picture of his mother to take back to her. Young loses hope, takes Sion and his injured friend and gets them out of the place before it explodes. The general regains consciousness and tries to escape, but the monster catches him for revenge. The place explodes, and they both die in it. Young and his team succeed in escaping at the last moment, and he is happy that he was able to save his dog. They return to the camp, and he calls an ambulance to take his colleague to the hospital and save his life. The next day, the news spreads on television, and everyone learns the truth about the general, that he was a traitor. They prove Young's father's innocence, and let people know that he was not a traitor, but the real hero. Afterwards, Sion attends a meeting with army leaders and tells them everything about the bomb. They thank her for what she did, of course, and she gets a promotion. They also give her secret documents and a reward. When she opens them, she finds her birth certificate and discovers that she is the child her mother tried to smuggle from the north. She feels relief after finally learning the truth and is happy that her parents loved her and sacrificed their lives for her. Afterwards, Young finally finishes his service in the cursed area and returns home, meets his mother, and she is happy to see him and hugs him. He tells her that he met his father and tells her about him, reassuring her that he will stay with her and not leave her again. He decides to fulfill his promise to his colleague and invites his team to a restaurant, and they eat together happily. The next day, he goes to meet Sion and tells her that he still loves her. Love always finds a way, guys. He decides to wait for her to finish her service, and then they'll get back together. Afterwards, he takes the old dog and decides to raise and take care of him, and they live together in peace and happiness. And that's it. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button so you never